What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andrew Jensen, in case you didn't already know. It's a beautiful gray Tuesday. I'm out practicing away. I came out here with the intention to talk about Q School, make this be the first part of my little Q School series, more specifically PGA Tour Canada Q School. And it actually worked out pretty great. Got my email this morning of my site assignment. I got my first site choice selection. I've got the site here in Jacksonville at TPC Sawgrass at the Valley course. So that's amazing. That's a win right there. But what do I mean by site assignment? Well, that's the first thing that comes to PGA Tour Canada Q School. The entry fee went live January 15th, but Q School actually doesn't start until late March. There's 5 sites. There's 2 in Florida, 1 in California, 1 in Phoenix, Arizona, and 1 in Canada. When you sign up, you have to rank those 5 sites in order of preference. So obviously the easy one is location would be your first preference. Something close to home is the easiest one because it's the most inexpensive one. You don't have travel expenses, and for me to have a site in Jacksonville is perfect. I get to sleep in my own bed, don't have to fly anywhere, don't have to rent a car, don't have to stay in a hotel or anything like that. The second thing you look at when you want to choose a site, you want to choose a golf course you either A, know, or B, really like. So the course that we play in BC, I really like. I went to Q School there a couple years ago and I believe I missed by a stroke. So I really like the golf course there. That was my second selection. It would be a bit more expensive in terms of travel and those expenses, but to go to a golf course that I know, that I'm comfortable with, that I like, that's a huge plus over going to a brand new golf course that you're really only going to get a round or two to familiarize yourself with it. Here in Jacksonville, I've never played the golf course, but the fact that it's close to home, I have 2 months to prepare and go out there and play some practice rounds and be more prepared than the vast majority of the guys in the tournament who will just get a round or 2 of preparation. But why? Why is the sign up so early? Well, the demand is really, really high. Each one of those sites is 132 players. They filled up. They filled up right away. I signed up 7 minutes after the entry fee went live, and I got my first selection. If I had waited even an hour, no chance I was getting my first selection. So we all woke up, set that alarm, and got to signing up right away. The PGA Tour Canada website even says all 5 sites are filled and there's a wait list of over 180 players right now. So the demand is really, really high because it's the first step in progressing to web.com, and then from web.com to the PGA Tour. The web.com Q School, I'll talk about that a little bit later. I've never done it, but I'm aware and familiar with how it works. But this one today, just want to talk to you about the logistical prep. Entry fee is $2,750. It's expensive. It's expensive to go to Q School across the board. Any Q School is quite expensive. That's the tough thing, because it comes down to, can you afford it? And as anyone on the channel knows, I got very lucky. Someone who watches the channel offered to pay my entry fee because I wasn't going if it weren't for that. I didn't have the money to enter. So once again, I can't thank Graham enough for reaching out and affording me this opportunity. The breakdown of what Q School is, the guy who finishes first, he gets exempt status for the entire year on the Canadian Tour. 2 to 16, I believe you're non-exempt, but you get 2 reshuffles. So that's 8 tournaments of the 12. Every 4 tournaments, there's a reshuffle. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And then from 17 to 40, you're non-exempt and you're not guaranteed any events. So the further you finish down that list, the less likely you are to get into tournaments that you're gonna have to Monday qualify and then hope to reshuffle up. My 2013 year on PGA Tour Canada, I finished basically 40th. So I got a card, but it was not a good one, and I got 2 starts based on sponsors exemptions. So when you're that far down the priority ranking, you need to get lucky and you need to play well when you get lucky and get those starts. I'm gonna keep practicing, and if anything else comes to my brain, we're gonna talk about it a little bit later. Let's get back to work. One of the other logistical things to think about is your plan. with PGA Tour Canada Q School being in the springtime, it's not quite the same as web.com Q School or the old days when Canadian Tour School was in the fall, when you've already played a spring and a summer season of tournaments and you're just rolling into Q School just like it's any other tournament. With Q School being in the springtime, you have to find a good plan on how to prepare for it, how to get competitively sharp, how to have your technique, your head, everything in line so that you're peaking come Q School. So my plan is going to be continue to work away on these swing tweaks throughout the month of February. I don't plan to play any tournaments until March rolls around. That'll give me essentially 4 to 5 weeks of tournament time to prepare. I think I want to play 3 tournaments in that time while I prepare for Q School. I don't want to be burnt out come Q School. You want to be sharp, you want to be trending in the right direction, and you want to be able to give it your full attention. Living in the same city as my Q School site is huge. I can make sure to get out to Sawgrass, to the Valley Course 4 or 5 times throughout the month of February and early March so that I'm even more prepared for the golf course and what to expect. So that's the other logistical thing you have to work through and figure out, and I guess that's what this whole series is about. I'm going to show you this plan as it plays out. So the preparation, the on-course stuff, how I'm going to go about preparing and planning a game plan for the golf course, and just checking in with how my swing is coming along, because you can work away on your golf swing on the range or at your home course, but you need to go and play some tournaments, get those juices flowing, and see how your tweaks hold up under pressure. I'm not afforded the luxury of going into Q School no differently than I would go into Q School, be it September. So you have to get creative. You have to figure out what works best for you. And once you get all these logistical pieces covered, then you can just focus on golf. And that's all I can focus on now. I've made a plan. I've got my site. I've afforded the entry fee, thankfully. And now it's just time to walk out that plan. It's actually quite a relief. Getting that site, I can breathe easy now, and I can prepare, and I can just stick to the work and get to work. And I can't wait to show you guys all of that. So give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the Q School stuff that's to come. And if you feel like I've missed out any the logistical nuts and bolts stuff, comment it down below, and I'll do my best to try to answer it in those comments or in the next little Q School video. Web.com stuff, that's coming. Be patient. I'll peel that apart in an upcoming video to talk about that undertaking and that process and what's on the line in that, because it's 3 times the undertaking and 3 times the size as PGA Tour Canada Q School. I'm headed to the PGA show tomorrow to film some really cool stuff that I hope to get to you as fast as possible. So guys, I'll see you at the PGA show. Peace.